This program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Hey, welcome into another edition of Fletch Nation. Glad to have you with us as we come to you from the capital of our state, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse at 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the program before a live audience.
Well, Kevin, how are you?
I'm quite well, man. It's been a strange week.
It's been a very strange week.
More unidentified objects shot down. Suddenly we're shooting them down before letting them cross the whole country.
Yeah, I mean, if you're flying around a little one-engine plane, you might want to watch yourself. I think the big story this week is the one that hasn't been really covered by the national press at all, and that is the blow-up at East Palestine?
East Palestine, Ohio,
which is received no press coverage.
I haven't seen much. I had to go out and find out all about it.
I've spent a lot of time reading about it, and so for people who don't know, there was a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. That's out in the country near Youngstown, Ohio, about 50 miles from Pittsburgh. The Ohio-Pittsburgh border's right there. The Allegheny Mountains, I think, are separated.
I know that area very well from my childhood.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And so the train derailed. It had, of course, we're used to this down here, it had cars of toxic chemicals being pulled. And apparently, that once it was derailed, they figured out there were all chlorine and all kinds of things were in it.
Some really bad stuff.
Really bad stuff. So maybe they called EPA, I don't know. And maybe the EPA agreed that they needed to, the first report from it, and the official report in Ohio is that none of the cars were breached. In other words, there wasn't any cracks in the cars.
Right.
So it wasn't leaking out, apparently. But apparently the EPA told them to blow it up.
Just blow it up.
And they blew up these chemicals, which looked like a massive nuclear attack.
Yep.
And
it was huge. The plume of smoke I saw
it's unbelievable.
In the photograph was it looked like something really, really big had exploded.
Blew up. Of course, the stuff, it started burning. The plume of smoke was huge. It's traveling all over the East Coast. And then the chemicals started leaking into the water, apparently. Fish are dying. Animals are dying. I don't know if any people have died yet. And what we've gotten is silenced by the national media. The EPA will not respond to it. Only people responding are the Ohio officials, and they can't say exactly who said pull the trigger on the explosion. And so a bunch of people have been put at risk. Now, the question comes down to, not only is it dangerous, it obviously is dangerous, the question comes down to is why hasn't the national media reported?
That is a really good question.
And by the way,
you've got to go to the Ohio media. You got to go to local media in order to find out anything about this
stuff. And where are all the eco-terrorists?
Where are all the economic or the what do they call it?
The alarmists,
environmentalist wackos.
The climate changers, all of that. Where are they?
Nobody seems concerned with this.
Nobody seems concerned. Has anybody tried to answer the question as to why nobody's concerned? I'll answer.
Well, okay, hit me.
Hit you. Look at the county. The county voted 79% for Trump. The town itself.
Whoa.
The town itself voted almost 85%.
So are you telling me there's some kind of an attitude of the hell with them?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. These are working class people. and they were obviously Trump voters in 20, probably more so in 2016, and nobody seems concerned at all that these people have been put at risk in this small town.
Now, my other question is, if when this train derailed, if initially none of the tanker cars were compromised, why would they want to release their contents or blow them up?
That's a good question, and I finally found the answer. Well, I didn't find the answer to that, but I did find the documentation as to the cars were not breached, the tanks were not breached at the time of when they first went in there and looked at it. And so that becomes a real question: is why did they blow them up? Because if there was no breach, there was no need to blow these things up. But they did anyway. But even if there was a breach, normally what would happen in a situation like that, my guess is that they don't set it on fire. Can you imagine if a train had derailed in Midtown or up in North Baton Rouge, where the industrial area is, and they would have said, blow it up? They wouldn't do that. So why did they do it here? Why was it such a cavalier thing to say, no, just blow it up? We don't care.
It's a mystery to me.
Yeah, well,
but I thought my only thought of why isn't the national media covering this huge disaster is because they were running some kind of cover for another government agency that had obviously dropped the ball, the EPA.
The EPA, the Transportation Secretary. We've had 4 more derailments since then.
Yeah.
And Buttigieg, or whatever his damn name is, it has not even addressed the problem. Not even addressed the problem. They want to blame it because Trump did something when he was in there, relaxed some rule as it related to train safety. But that's not the issue here. The issue here is, why did this train derail? Why did they blow these chemicals up around these people? And why did they? The Ohio River runs right there. Mm-hmm. Okay? The Ohio River runs right by. If the Ohio River is being contaminated, the Ohio River runs into the Mississippi River, which runs into the Gulf of Mexico. Mm-hmm. Anybody wanting to know what's going on, that's what's going on.
The drinking water from that area also comes from the aquifer, not from a reservoir.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you get chemicals into the aquifer, you've got a real danger.
You got a massive danger. But they chose, instead of clean it up,
they chose to burn it up.
They chose to blow it up and burn it up. And not one environmentalist in this country has said one word about this now. And I must tell you that I can't find any other reason for them not to do anything as to these are the wrong people.
Yep.
They were Trump voters, so we don't care.
Yeah. To hell with them.
To hell with them. I hate to say that, but because if you know that if it was the base of the Democratic Party, they would have 700 members of Congress up there screaming environmental racism. Mm-hmm. That's what would have happened. And that's not what happened up there. And it's a damn disgrace and a shame. And I hopefully that this thing won't spread too far, but it appears to be a real problem. A real problem.
It's time for us to take a break, take care of a little bit of business. Hope you'll stay with us for more of Fletch Nation coming your way in just 3 minutes right here on the Pelican.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
You could be driving a...
Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
So, checking in on the recent events of objects being found flying in our American airspace.
Let's go to that.
First, the president allowed a suspected, I'm going to use the word suspected because we still have not actually confirmed that was in fact a Chinese spy balloon, but he let this object cross the entire United States. It was first noticed over Billings, Montana, which is very close to the Global Strike Command. Intercontinental ballistic missiles, B-52s with nuclear bombs. But it made it all its way down to the southeastern United States and out over the Atlantic Ocean before they finally smoked it and made sure that whatever was left of it dropped into the Atlantic Ocean where it couldn't be recovered.
And we still have not recovered.
But in the days since then,
that was the word. That was the pitch.
As many as 4 more objects, 3 that I know of, but I think a 4th is still in question. As many as 4 more unidentified objects have been shot down. One over Canadian airspace at the behest of the Prime Minister of Canada.
Well, yeah.
Because, we're in tight with the commies up in Canada.
Well, yeah, he had to show out that he really wasn't a Chi-Com operator.
The funniest thing that I took away from this is there was actually a press briefing by a member of the Department of Defense, a general.
John Kirby.
Thank you, General Kirby, Department of Defense, where he said, we can't rule out aliens. We can't rule out aliens.
Which immediately my mind went back to Mars Attack.
Exactly.
Yeah, yak.
Now, I did see some video of one of the shoot downs, and I thought it was interesting that whatever it was that was exploding and on fire was moving in if it was a balloon with just a payload, why was it like through the sky after it was hit by the rocket?
Well, the other thing about the one
that was on fire and moving.
The one over Lake Huron, the Great Lakes, was, they say, octagon shaped. I've never seen a balloon octagon shaped. That suggests that perhaps it is a vehicle of unknown origin.
Are you saying we can't rule out aliens?
I can't rule out aliens either. Okay, Kevin, I'm not going to rule it out. But here, so you gave the narrative as to how they found the balloon and what the president said, and so on and so forth. That's not true. That's not true, because in the last 2 days, it has been reported that they watched the balloon take off from the coast of China on its way over.
So they monitored it all the way?
They monitored it all the way across the Pacific Ocean.
Why?
Well, because they thought maybe they better watch it.
Well, but I mean, yeah, but once it's over U.S. airspace, you have every right to burn it down.
You can shoot it off over the. So the question was, why did the president say that he was told about it when it got over Alaska?
Well, because Joe fibs a lot.
Yeah, Joe lies.
I mean, even people I know that like Joe and voted for Joe understand that he lies a lot.
They will admit that that the truth is not in him.
It's not his greatest asset. Is telling the truth.
No, it's not. So, but let's go back to these 4 or 3, whichever one it is, of these other objects.
3, possibly 4 others.
Yeah, that they have run into along the way. Now, the question I have is okay, this balloon, we now know that we were following this balloon all the way from China. So obviously we have capabilities to follow in anything anyway. Mm-hmm. So where did these other 4 come from? Did they come from China? Or Ukraine, or wherever the case, or some guy's backyard in Montana who's having a good time playing with the United States? That brings up the second question. Are our air defense systems so poor that we can't keep up with things in the air?
You know, and Roy, granted, I don't know a lot about these things, but I thought that certain responses were automatic, that they didn't have to put in a call to the White House and say, Mr. President, what do we do? I thought that certain responses in our air defense were going to be automatic.
And I thought other nations knew they were automatic. You send something over our airspace, we're going to shoot it down. Understand that's what's going to happen. I mean, we don't mean any harm to you. We don't mean any disrespect to you. We're going to blow you off.
Let me ask you a hypothetical. If they had watched this balloon launched from Russia and tracked it across, what do you think they would have done? They probably would have burned it down over Alaska.
Or over China. I mean, you don't know. I mean, the point being is that, but this gets me back to the alien thing, okay? No, I'm not going to give this up now yet. Because these things just popped up.
Well, they might have, if we're talking in that vein, they might have popped down into the upper atmosphere.
Well, I mean, okay, but the point is they come from a place where they didn't know where they came. We don't have any information.
I know what you're saying. If they tracked one balloon all the way from China, why not these others?
Yeah,
where did they come from?
Where did they come from?
They know, they're just not being told.
Oh, is that? I mean, I'm going to accept that. Okay, that's probably true.
I'm just get used to the gaslighting by all factions of the U.S. government.
Well, I can accept that, Kevin. Except in this case, they made everything else so public. You know, we shot it down. Here's the video of the shoot down, this or that. They made everything else so public except for one thing: the origin.
Yep, where'd it come from?
But they obviously they leaked that they've been following this balloon all the way from China, so they wanted everybody to feel safe. But they cannot even answer the simple question of, if these things show up on a radar screen or whatever they do somewhere, well, then you would know it came from China, because you already told us you can track a balloon from China. Where did these come from? This is a simple question.
Yep.
It's not a hard question, folks. Where did these come from?
I don't know if KJP has a page in her loose leaf binder that covers that for the White House press briefing.
And by the way, the press hadn't even asked the question, have you?
No, I haven't really heard anybody ask the question.
Nobody's asked the question of the origin of it. And so...
Okay.
And so... we're supposed to keep talking. They tell us.
Well, they're telling... We had like a minute left in the segment, but they're doing this, which always means talk until we tell you to stop.
Oh, you see, out of all of these alien signals, I don't understand. And obviously our
aliens?
government don't either.
Is it aliens? And it would be just like Biden to start an interstellar war, wouldn't it?
Well, it sure would. I mean,
if any president was going to piss off the aliens and start Independence Day, it'd be Joe Biden.
Well, it seems reasonable to me. I mean, you know, the other question is, did they come from the Ukraine? Because we wouldn't report that it came from the Ukraine. Zelensky may be over there.
Yeah.
You know, sending up balloons and trying to create a third war. I don't know.
They won't report anything that they don't think that we're just going to go, yay, Team USA.
I know. I mean, it's.
But I did notice that after they let the other one, the subsequent unidentified objects were shot down, they wanted to let us know right away. We're shooting them down now. So we're shooting them down now.
And that's why.
You know, you can trust us now. We'll shoot them down.
That's why I say it's not a good time to be flying around in a one-engine plane, because you might just become a PR stunt.
No kidding.
I mean, you know, with all.
And what if I was an amateur? I mean, you know, you can buy a weather balloon. You can buy a weather balloon that inflates. That's about 75 feet across.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can put your own payload and send it up there into the upper atmosphere. And you know, what if some poor amateur meteorologist up in, like, you know, South Dakota is like, you shot down my balloon. Damn.
I mean, you should have gone.
I put that on Visa.
I want my money back. I want it back now. You know.
Are we good to go? All right. Well, they're telling us now it's time to take a break, so we'll take 3 and we'll be right back.
We got all confused there, folks.
More Fletch Nation coming up.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
No, I wasn't dipping. What do you mean dipping? No. What? Roy and I talked about back in the band days. I used to keep about 2 shots of Crown Royal in a plastic cup sitting on top of my amplifier so that I could soothe my throat and be able to, because you got to sing for 4 hours.
Give you a little juice. You know, you got to juice yourself a little bit.
So
anyway,
during the commercial break, I was telling Roy, it's like, and I'm sure that it's not the first administration that's lied their butts off to us, and I'm sure that Trump probably lied his butt off about some stuff. But it seems like everything. They don't feel like we deserve to hear the truth about anything.
No. And like we don't know the truth.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me is, don't you understand, we all, not all, but a lot of us do know what the truth is, and we know that you're lying to us, mostly because the lies you tell are so obvious.
I mean, the idea that inflation is going down, I mean, people go to the grocery store. They know what inflation is.
Well, remember when the president called it Putin's price hikes?
Yeah.
This was all caused by Putin invading Ukraine.
Wait a minute. The press secretary went so far as yesterday to say that we all sit around and talk about when we can get gas down to $1.60 a gallon. Lady, it's $3.50. It's $3.50 a gallon. I mean, it's $3.50 a gallon. Round it off. Let's put it $3.50 a gallon.
Yeah, I'd love me some $1.60
and you're sitting around. It was almost like she was saying, because we think it's $1.60 a gallon, it really is. Well, it's not $1.60 a gallon. Okay, it's $3.50. Y'all crazy.
Well, it's that thinking we got during the Obama administration. Just accept this as the new normal and move on. This is the way it's going to be.
I guess.
Remember, Obama had a run-up on prices. He had a surge in inflation, and he just tried to tell us that this is the new normal. Accept it. It's the way it's going to be.
Except that we had 3.5 years where it wasn't the new normal.
Exactly.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And I think that causes a whole lot of problems for America because we actually can remember things getting done and things happening, and then the prices started going down, and the price of energy dropped, and gasoline dropped, and it was kind of weird, wasn't it, Kevin? Mm-hmm. Almost kind of went back to an old normal.
Yeah, I felt like it was like the 1980s all over again.
Yeah, the thing about these spacecrafts are unidentified. Yeah, okay, whatever they are. I think it's kind of funny they have to call them UFOs.
That's what they are. It's a technical term, and that's what they are.
That's what they are. Of course, that was a technical term always used for the place in New Mexico, the one where they...
Oh, Roswell.
Yeah, they got the alien out there. I've seen that. They have the alien. It's on Independence Day. You can see that alien. Anyway. But think about all of these. So you got 4 or 5 train derailments all of a sudden. We have had, over the past year, food processing plants, meat packing, blown up, caught fire, burnt down. Millions and millions and millions of food hens die. What about chickens? And
that's right. Food hens, egg-laying hens and eating hens, gone.
And then now there's this out there, and I don't know if it's true or not, and the farmer would have to tell me if they thought it was true or not. Is that this chicken feed, for hens that lay? Mm-hmm. They're claiming that's something to do with the lack of production among chicken. Now, we know certain things that lack of production among humans, but this one's a new one on me, is that the lack of production by chicken.
Well, they putting saltpeter in the feed or something?
I don't know what's going on. But I mean, that's what they say. I don't think that's true, but it's just a conspiracy theory. But you know what that means, right? So track record on things being conspiracies become real at some point, and it's kind of weird.
Yep. At times, I've said this many times, but there's that old saying of, Noah was a conspiracy theorist, and then the rain started.
And he was still a conspiracy theorist until about 30 days in, and then somebody went, Noah may have had something there.
Yeah.
And we better build a boat. Well, it's a little late now.
When they could see the water coming up there, like, could we get on that thing? No. Nope. Can't do it.
Noah, you are really a smart guy. Can we get on? Do whatever you can to get on the boat.
By the way, you're talking about the train derailments. Just day before yesterday, an 18-wheeler hit by a train.
Yeah.
That 18-wheeler was carrying like 7,000 gallons of nitric acid.
Yeah, that was in Houston, wasn't
Yeah, it was near Houston. Really dangerous stuff. And that was a rupture. They had a huge spill. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
and I don't know what they've done about it. I guess they handle it in, hazmat people handle that in appropriate protocol, but it was Texas, so I figure they will. But if it was in Ohio, maybe they wouldn't. Just saying.
Depends on the voting district.
It depends on the voting district. But the whole point of that is that, and Tucker Carlson made a point about this the other night. I'm not making anything new here. He made a point about this the other night, which is, it almost feels like the country's under attack in some way. And the question I have is that if Tucker was right, well then who's attacking us? And why? The China.
The CCP, my friends. But yeah, I take your meaning by under attack. Is it possible that there's been some conspiracy to cause all these catastrophic events that are going to be environmental disasters and disasters to our supply chain and our food supplies?
Yeah.
Especially our domestic food. They want to damage our domestic food supply because that'll make us more dependent on foreign food.
I think that without the conspiratorial part of it, I do think that's a fair question. Are these acts, are these things, the process of some sort of command and control operation? And are they directed at destroying the very thing that we're talking about?
As long as we're putting our tinfoil hats on,
well,
whose operation? Is it an unfriendly foreign power,
or is it internal?
Is it somebody internal that's wanting to again shape the way America behaves?
And I don't think that's conspiratorial. I think that is, let's for a moment think that that's a possibility, and go out and find out if there is any truth to that or not. Because the country, in a way, is at stake when you have your transportation system, you have your food system, you have certain other infrastructure things, or blowing up or attacking these power plants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they arrested a couple of people the other day, I think in North Carolina, but
yes, they did.
North Carolina is not the only place that occurred. It had occurred in about 6 or 7 other states. So the question I have is that a possibility? And if so, are we trying to find out if it is a coordinated command and control effort?
Interesting.
Because otherwise we're not doing our country a service if we just allow these things to occur and act as if they're coincidental.
I got a strong streak of the Oliver Stone in me, and I see conspiracies.
I do too, I always do.
I see conspiracies everywhere. Yep. Hey, coming up in just a moment, Donald Trump now has a challenger for the Republican nomination in 2024. That when we return with Fletch Nation.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Hey, welcome back to Fletch Nation. As we record this, you may be watching it on a later day, but it is Wednesday, the 15th. I hope everybody had a very good St. Valentine's Day. Anyway, moving right along. Today, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
Yes. Former UN ambassador under Donald Trump.
Former U.S. ambassador to the UN under Donald Trump. She formally announced, she's been talking about it for weeks and weeks.
She has, yeah.
She is officially throwing her hat in the ring for the Republican nomination for President of the United States in 2024, meaning she will challenge Donald Trump, which is something she said she wouldn't do.
Yeah.
What do you think about Miss Haley joining the race?
I think she's a nice-looking gal. She's got a woman that she's very articulate, and she was a fairly good governor of South Carolina. People liked her. And, so I think that she's obviously a contender, but the problem here is Donald Trump. I mean, that's the problem, and his hold on the base of the Republican Party, and it is still very strong. I saw a poll yesterday had him at about 57 and Ron DeSantis at 26 or 28. So it's still strong. Trump's hold on the party is still strong. And here's what happens. So let's look at the primaries that they will get in, and this is important because this gives you an idea of the strategic implications of her candidacy, and that's important. The primaries will be decided in most instances, almost all instances, by a plurality. Mm-hmm. In other words, who gets the most votes gets, there's some proportionality to it, but basically who gets the most votes gets the vast majority of the delegates from that state. Mm-hmm. Okay? So here's what happens. You have the Trump wing of the party, or whatever it may be. Let's call it 50%, just for a game. Okay. And then you have DeSantis. Then you have Haley. You have Pompeo. You have John Bolton, for God's sakes. He said he's running.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then you have Ron DeSantis, all on this side of the party. So what happens is that Trump wins a primary with 47%, mm-hmm. and these people split up the other 53. And in states like in the Northeast, where Trump does not have 57, where he's got 35, mm-hmm. he gets 35, and these people run races over here, and a really good race gets you 30, and you still didn't win the state. And so they split up the anti-Trump vote in the Republican Party. So what'll happen is this. DeSantis gets in, and the Haley, Pompeo, those candidacies sort of go by the wayside. And finally we'll get to the end, and I don't know what it is, but it's usually someplace like California. And we'll have the match of King Kongs. And somebody will win and somebody will lose, and probably DeSantis would win in that situation, and he gets the nomination. And that's sort of what we're looking at here as it plays out. But the more candidates in the field that are not Trump, the more candidates in the field only split up the vote that do not support Trump. And so
that means
it makes
nobody
it easier
wins.
for Trump to win.
Nobody makes inroads as a non-Trump candidate.
That's correct. That's right.
I want to go back to the polling you talked about, because as recently as yesterday in my job as a news reporter, I was talking with Dr. Jeff Sadow, professor of political science at LSU Shreveport. And he was speaking in terms of, there seems to be this sense among politicos that Trump is done. And Republicans are all done with Trump. And Republicans want to move away from Trump. But let's go back to the polling numbers you just cited.
Yeah, well, we've talked about this before. I've talked about how they have created or tried to generate this narrative that Trump is done in the Republican Party, that they have moved away from him. I don't say that he's as strong now as he was in 20 or at 16, but that they have moved away from him. And the problem with that narrative is that every time you poll, there have been a couple of polls that have shown it closer, much closer between he and DeSantis. But so that's to be fair. But generally, as a rule, when you look at the numbers, what you see is that Trump is continuing to hold that place of majority within the Republican Party. If that's the case, then that narrative that Politico and others would like to say just is not holding true. Now here's the X factor in all this. There are some states where you can register to vote on the day that the election occurs. In other words, you can go in and declare, I'm a Republican, I want to vote. It's not so much register to vote, but you declare your partisanship when you walk in the booth. So there's some states where there may be independents and Democrats going in saying, I'm a Republican, I want to vote in the Republican primary, and they get to vote in it, and they vote for the anti-Trump candidate, which in that case, that gives these other people more room to get votes to beat Trump. And so that's how it gets mixed. That's called kind of an open primary system. And that's how it gets mixed up. And you may end up, with a Haley or a DeSantis or them winning some primaries they didn't expect to win because of the infusion of Democratic independent voters.
Now, another conventional wisdom question I have for you, Roy, is that a lot of people would like to think that the Republicans, conservative voters, are the voters that are not ready to elect a woman president of the United States yet. Well, the Democrats are rushing headlong to it. They want to be the Democrats want to say, first woman president. We did it.
Yeah, well,
is there any of that kind of nonsense going on with Republican Party that you know?
I think it's this, and that is that I think that Republicans, frankly, all of those, I think they would vote for a black candidate, a woman candidate, or whatever, as long as their philosophy, their values, and their ideals are in line with the majority of the Republican Party. I don't think that there is a problem like that. I think that is bogus.
I think that we've seen people in our history that if they would have made a serious run for president, whether they were a minority, a female minority, they probably could have gotten a healthy. I think people would have voted for Colin Powell at one time.
Yeah.
I think people would have voted for Condoleezza Rice
at one time.
They voted
for Ben Carson.
Right.
The Condoleezza Rice is absolutely correct.
So maybe
Candace Owens would be. She could be a damn serious candidate.
I like Candace Owens a great deal.
Yeah, I do too. She's left. She's right winger, but
So smart. So smart.
And
bless you.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
My allergies are just ripping me today.
We're going to get Roy a tissue and take a quick break. Pay for, do a little business, pay some bills, and we'll be back in 3 minutes.
An obscene profit break.
With much more of Fletch Nation right here on Pelican Broadcasting. Thanks for being with us.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we're back with Fletch Nation coming to you from the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse, where things are getting a little bit rowdy.
Yeah,
and I like that.
We're filming. Some people in
we are filming before a live audience
and stuff.
I don't say it enough, I think, on this program, but if you're in Baton Rouge and you want some legit homemade barbecue, and I'm talking the baked beans are homemade, the coleslaw made from scratch, the barbecue sauce is made from scratch. This is serious old school barbecue smokehouse here at 10655
They live up to their name.
They really do.
Yeah, they do. So, Kevin, we talked to, we'll go to the governor's race here in a minute, but we've talked a number of times about crime around LSU.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we had another incident last night. Person appears to have went through the window of his girlfriend's apartment over on Highland Road at the Hub. Apparently, I don't know if that's it or not, but that's what I've been told.
That's over by the North Gates, right?
Yeah, it's South Gates.
South Gates, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the South Gates. and went in and apparently shot his girlfriend and her mother. So we have that nice little incident over there, and of course we haven't heard anything from LSU about it, or very little about it.
Are they going to go talk to the bars in that neighborhood about
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, y'all. The bars, which there are none right in that area. So there's a Walmart on the corner of Lee and Island that they need to go talk to, with all due respect. But that just continues, that pattern continues, and it's going to continue. And obviously, LSU and the leadership out there are not going to do a damn thing about it, or say a damn thing about it.
Until their enrollment drops
well,
so
and that
low
brings
that
up
they
a
won't be able
really interesting
to
thing.
not deal with it.
Their PAR report come out yesterday?
Day before, I think.
Yeah, and it basically says because of here's their thing, because of the decline in birth rate, but back during the 2007, so on and so forth, that back during that economic crisis, that the birth rate in Louisiana has dropped dramatically, and the enrollment at universities are going to drop dramatically.
Because of the birth rate.
Because of the birth rate. That seems to be...
It's not because of woke politics or unsafe campuses or any of that
well,
kind of...
let's just hold on a minute. We'll get there. So that seems to be the argument among the woke crowd, is that the birth rate is causing the precipitous drop in... now, understand... enrollment in college and university. Understand LSU has basically an open enrollment. I mean, it's called holistic admission.
Yes.
But what it is if you want to come. We don't care. Just come. And we can see just coming what's done. But the fact is, because LSU, frankly, was about the year 2000, was rated as the 5th highest academic institution in the SEC. Today we're dead last. Oh, we're not dead last. Mississippi State is. We're second to dead last.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just, that's what God has wrought from your missions policies out there. Before they used to be, you had to have a pretty high ACT, or at least somewhat of an ACT, and you couldn't get in without doing well in certain classes, core classes in high schools, and you just didn't get in. Now you just get in.
But when you lower the admissions bar, what you get is you get people who can get in under that bar.
Well, that's right. And you should think that a number of people in your university would go up, but no, it's birth rate. It's birth rate. That's why it's going to go down, is because of birth rate.
Birth rate. It's birth rate.
Yeah. So what they failed to talk about at all was what they're teaching, as you just said, wokeism.
Woke politics.
Yeah. Crime around at least LSU. I don't know about the other universities, but crime certainly around LSU. And then, of course, here's the other problem.
Title IX violations, by the way.
Title IX violations.
Which extend into the student body. Forget the sports program.
Absolutely. And then I think the big one. The other day, I read a study that was just done that high schoolers that go to work make about 93% of what university graduates do when they graduate from college. The high schoolers take the 4 years to learn something and do something and work somewhere and bust it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're earning what those graduates are earning when they get out of college. Oh, they didn't have all that fun. They didn't learn gender studies. In other words, I think that somebody has decided that what we have here is an economic decision. Not going to college might be a smart idea.
Yeah.
And the universities have not reckoned. They want to blame it on birth rates, but they do not want to say, well, folks, you want to make a lot of money. You go, these guys that go out there and become welders and pipe fitters and electricians and so on and so forth, and end up figuring out how to put the money together to start their own business, gonna make a whole lot of money, and you ain't gonna be making doodly squat in 20 years.
Well, plus if you got a degree in mind, there are better places to go to get that degree.
Absolutely.
And get it faster.
Absolutely.
Hell, you can go online and get a degree faster.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. That's a whole lot cheaper than it is going to a 4-year institution and doing all that.
By the way,
Folks,
I'm not talking about a liberal arts degree. I'm talking about a degree that will make you a living. You know?
Yeah, and that's the other question is that why are the taxpayers, why are they forced to subsidize useless degrees? If a degree is not something that a young person can go and get, well, then the young person pays for the degree. But so that requires somebody to have to pick and choose as to what is best for my economic future, and what is best for my social future, and what is best for my psychological future. That is what people need to face, and apparently they're facing it, and they're making a choice. University is not for me, and it's time that the universities understand the market they're in, because the market they're in is not conducive to their model that they've had all of these years. Academia is changing. Mm-hmm. It's changing radically, and at least the market around academia seems to be trying to hold on to something that's and so that accounts for all the wokeism and stuff in universities, is because that way you can go and you can be popular there at that university because you espouse all the wokeism stuff. Yeah. While the guys and the gals that want to make a living are somewhere busting their butt learning a trade or something.
Yep. Out becoming a productive member of society, and by the way, getting a 4 to 6 year jump on their peers.
That's right.
And putting money away for retirement if they're smart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen it with my own son. I've seen it. I know what I'm talking about. It's just that way, and while he can't say he has a college degree, he spent 2 years in junior college and then went on and did what he wanted to do.
I know plenty of people have done very, very well for themselves and never got a college degree. The greatest broadcaster in the history of this nation, Rush Hudson Limbaugh, no college degree.
None.
Dropped out of high school, as a matter of fact. So,
did Rush drop out of high school?
Yep. Marty, is that time to the end of the show or is that time to the break? That's it. Okay, then we're within our last 45 seconds. We're going to talk a bit about the governor's race, but you know what? There's all kinds of time for that.
We're going to be talking about that for the next 6 months anyway.
The big question this week is Garrett Graves will he or won't he? He's still playing it coy and on the fence. I'm going to go out on a limb and say won't he? He won't.
He won't.
I don't think he will.
I'm with you.
He's got stuff turning loose for him in the House of Representatives, and I don't think he's going to say goodbye to that just yet.
If you take this job down here, you're not going to sleep much. That's the bottom line, because the state's in trouble.
Listen, until next week, we'll be back with another edition of Fletch Nation. You take care of yourself, okay?
Listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.